Women currently today make up 36% of the U.S. producers, operating over 407 million acres.
Wow.
Women do. The number one state with the most women in ag. Do you want to guess?
Is it Midwest?
So Bradie, I have a question for you. What's it like when the corn is high, but the chaos is higher?
It's a lot of things, but it's never boring. This is the Farm Wife Files, life between the rows.
Okay,
Yay.
Welcome back. Monday again. So last episode we talked about what we would talk about this episode as far as, what did we even say? Something about the farm? I don't remember how we led into this one.
Farm ventures of just being passionate about the farm and
there you go, right.
pouring into the farm.
So a question I had for you before we kind of get into this, because I do feel like this episode is maybe more geared towards me talking.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, like, your guys' farm, and, like, do you feel like you should be more, I don't know if involved is the right word, because you are, but, like, you just are the type of person, you do have a lot of ventures outside of the farm. Do you ever feel like you want to have them directed towards the farm, or, like...
I would say if I had more time in my life and more resources in my life to pour into the farm and that type of stuff, sure, I would love to do that, but I also... don't really want to give up anything else that I'm already doing, or we talked about like irons in the fire and kind of that, like I'm just not ready to give that up, and I selfishly or not, because they're not farm related. I think maybe Cody would also agree that, like, stay away from the farm, because he knows that
really?
I don't know if he would be like, I don't want to be farming right next to you, because that's not what I think he would have the intention of, but I do think he knows that I would be asking questions, and I would question why we're doing things the way that we're doing things when I don't think they need to be doing it that way. And
I think Tyler gets sick of me.
I know. So that's why it's like, maybe Cody is glad that I keep myself busy in other ways.
Yeah.
Again, love it. But so yes, I would love to do stuff on the farm.
Do you think that'll come, maybe?
You know, it's hard to say, because I really love what I do right now. And even if I scale back on one of those, maybe I just want some time to just, like, not have something going on. And, and it looks different. Maybe it's me starting a farm stand, like, like a little, like, roadside farm stand. Like, that could be something that I would totally, like, really, like, do for the farm, and that would be farm related.
And that would so fill up your cup.
Yeah, I would love it. But, realistically, not going to happen right now. But that would also mean that, well, not necessarily, but... would I need to do chickens? Absolutely. Do I want to deal with chickens right now? No. Does Cody want to deal with chickens ever?
You've
no.
only been asking him to build a coop for the last how many years?
I know. And so it's like, we would need to build a coop, and we would actually need to do chicken chores, and I just don't have the time to do that right now. So...
good for you that you recognize that, though, instead of just, like, adding more to your plate, and then once you're, like, in it and doing it, you're like, oh my gosh, why did I do this to myself?
Right. Or I'm not going to be able to give 100%, and I'm going to have to rely on other people to do.
And that kills us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that kind of leads me into, I think Tyler does get completely sick of, maybe not. I know he did make the comment that the conversations that I bring up that are about the farm kind of make his, like, brain turn. Yeah. So that's kind of fun. But I'll just get right into it. We've got a couple people ask, because I keep mentioning this farm venture in, like, a handful of episodes, and I've given no context whatsoever. But anyway, Tyler gave me 30 acres this year that I can do whatever I want with. He's not going to help at all or do anything, but he won't let me kill it. That's literally the extent of the details.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, he literally was just like, here's your 30 acres. I don't care what you do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was in the Men's Tell All episode, or it was just a conversation that we were having, like, before we pushed record at the Men's Tell All, but he was like, those 30 acres are not going to make or break the farm. Right. So this is why.
Yeah, I don't remember if that made it on the recording or not.
Yeah, but that's why you got the 30 acres. But you were really excited to, like, I'm excited for you to share it.
Yeah, I just, I think he was a little bit shocked because I like to dabble in like a whole bunch of podcasts because this was before we started ours, and I was just finding myself searching for something like this because I love like the farming and the research, but also relatability and farm wives and farm moms. Like, I just want a niche of everything, I guess. And so hence why we started Life Between the Rows. I wish ours was like a little bit more research farming based, but we'll get there. Maybe we'll have some agronomists or some different guests on or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. This has been like super short lived. So, but no, I was listening to a different podcast and they were talking about just how plants take up nutrients differently. And this was right in the time that I was pregnant with Branson early on, and I was extremely anemic. So I had started taking iron pills.
Yep.
And still I was extremely anemic and like fatigued and exhausted all the time. And I'm like, why is this not working? And I had like a light bulb moment when I was listening to this podcast, and I'm like, we're like plants.
We're like plants.
My body's not taking it in as it should. So maybe I should try a different source.
Yeah.
AKA I started getting infusions.
Right.
And so that made me feel like 10 times better, which just totally led me down a rabbit hole. Because I've always been into the farming and like the seasons and like I know how things go and all that. But as far as what actually goes into the soil and like the plant itself and like it's a lot. So like, yeah, it just totally sent me down this rabbit hole of things.
And mind you, when you first started bringing this up, I mean, it was months ago, like even before we even recorded this podcast,
Yes.
like we talked about this. So it's been a long time coming for this episode to really come
It
to
has.
light, but it's finally actually happening because we're putting
Yeah, we're getting there. I mean,
Right.
we're going to start putting seeds in the ground and
But when you
couple
said,
weeks.
you know, how you're going to go about saying what you're going to put on, like, for fertilizer and all of that type of stuff, I looked at you like you...
Addie's like, what are you talking
I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Where are you even going to get that? So...
Yeah.
Please have that in the back of your head as Bradie continues to tell her
Yeah.
story, because I looked at her like she was absolutely crazy.
And maybe like for farmers and like men that are like, you know, really into the progressive farming and trying new things, maybe it won't be like
oh yeah, for
know,
sure. No, yeah.
maybe they'll be like, oh yeah, we've tried it, didn't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But please tell us,
Yeah.
because maybe we'll prove you wrong, or Bradie will prove you wrong.
So it kind of started because, so anyway, I'm listening to all these podcasts, kind of doing my own research, reading some university studies. And so then I kind of got to thinking, well, I wonder what we implement in our farm. And so it kind of started, I'm like, Tyler, how do you put on nitrogen? Do you do like a split? Do you do like split nitrogen, like, you know, some early and then some later? And he's like, yeah, you know, this is what we do, kind of walk through that. And then what else? Like, I'm just trying to think of all the beginning questions. Because like Addie said, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I was nervous to bring it up to Tyler because I thought he'd be like, you're
No.
so stupid. Like, why do you want to do this?
Okay, and if my husband thinks I'm stupid, okay,
Yeah,
like you think
whatever.
I make stupid decisions all the time,
Yeah.
but you still love me, so
Yeah.
deal with it.
And so then, like, asking about, and then I asked him, I said, would you pull soil samples for
Sure.
a couple of our different farms? And he said, well, yeah, why? Well, and no. I asked him how long ago he had pulled soil samples. And he's like, well, this farm this time, and then the farm I was really wanting to do it on, he's like, I think it's been like 5 years or something. And I said, okay, would you pull soil samples for that farm? And he's like, why? And I was like, well, I said, I kind of want to do something different. He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, have you ever heard of seaweed? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the
kinda.
ocean.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I said, I want to try and put kelp on our soybeans. And he's like, okay. And he had heard of it, but he had not, he didn't know anything about it.
Right, he literally has just heard, oh, so-and-so put kelp on
Yes.
XYZ and
Yep. Yeah.
left it as that. Didn't go down the rabbit hole like you did.
Yes, and Tyler just got into his sugars farming too.
Yep.
Which when he came to me and he's like, yeah, we're putting sugar down on our stuff. I'm like literally I'll go to Tim's and get a big old bag of sugar and that's what we're putting down, basically.
Yeah.
So we kind of had just had that conversation. So that was funny, crazy, like weird. So it was kind of the same thing, me telling him of the kelp, and he's like, yeah, what do you want to do with it? So I had been talking to something about me that you guys will learn is I kind of do and then tell later, because I wanted to figure out if it was something I even wanted to implement or like ask or talk about before I even brought it up to Tyler. And he was like, no, that's so stupid. Don't even look it up. I'm like, I'll just figure it out for myself. So if it's not something I want to do, I can just save myself the heartache of like having to feel stupid in front of him. I was like, okay, I already talked to this guy out of, I don't remember where he's out of. I think he lived in Florida, but this kelp was out of British Columbia. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. I said, so I talked to him, so we've got a video call with him on Tuesday.
Oh, it's Tuesday at like 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and you're going to have to stop work.
No, I did it at 1. I did it at 1, so he could come home and eat lunch, and then we'd have a video call.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's actually funny. I love that.
Yeah. He's like, okay, whatever. So end up having this video call with this guy, and was telling us about kelp, and I had told him, I said, to preface this, we've already talked on the phone. I've done a ton of research on this. This is more of like a tell Tyler the backstory of all this, and he's the numbers and the stats guy. That's what you need to tell him in per acre type stuff. So they kind of did all that talking, and then what I liked about it the most is that it's like so untried. So like there's just not studies on it, which I'm like, ooh, like it just totally sparks my imagination and my like just the research side of me. So I was like, okay, I want to run some trials. Well then, so Tyler was fine with that. He was all good with the kelp trials, okay. But then after more research, I'm like, I want to apply it differently. And he's like, okay, well, how do you want to apply it? I'm like, well, I'm going to do a seed treatment, but then I also want to do a foliar pass on it. And he's like, okay. He's like, you're going to have like 4 different plots for all these different ways. I'm like, okay. But then he wanted to put some humic down. And shout out to Singular. This is who we've gotten all this product from them. But anyway, Tyler had already put some humic down. Our freaking John Deere Ops is just going to be like strobing in color because we've got humic that's going to go on some of it. And then we've got some passes that are going to be, it's a 3-3 bean, but then we're going to seed treat it with kelp. And so you're going to have one that's treated with kelp. Next one's going to be treated with kelp and have a foliar pass before reproductive stage. Then the next one is going to be just foliar. Is that 4?
No, if you're just doing humic as
well, that's going to be over all of it.
Right.
So that's everything.
That would
so
be number 3 then.
Okay, let me think about this again. First one, seed.
Oh, just
Second
plain
one,
seed?
Yes.
Well, okay, then that would be 4.
Yes, okay. So
because
we have
it's
4.
Seed and then seed with kelp and then seed.
No, this is all kelp. This is
okay.
I
Restart.
know, it's so confusing.
There's humic on the whole field.
Yes. Okay.
All 30 acres.
Yes. Okay. So the kelp is going to help it with like stress. So
right.
like when I first started this, I was just going to do it right before it hit reproductive phase so it could, obviously reproduce, make beans, make more of them. And then obviously it's usually dry here. So in my mind, I'm thinking we're going to have a dry year and then we're going to hit it with this kelp right before it really stresses out and it gets super hot in July and August. So hopefully this will like give it a little boost it needs. But then after I did more research, I learned a lot more about seed treatment and germination. So I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. So it's all the same product, just put on at different times.
Okay.
So, yes, we'll have the seed treatment on one, the foliar spray on the other one, and then we'll do both. And then we'll do... Why am I missing a row? I know I'm supposed to have 4 rows. That's only 3.
Yeah, that's why. Unless you're doing...
Maybe nothing.
I was going to say, maybe you're doing just a control row of nothing.
I think so.
Of just seed.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Sorry, I need my little pamphlet of where I wrote all this down.
Yeah, I was going to say literally all of your things.
So yeah, now it's just kind of turned into like a whole thing, and it's only 30 acres. So as you can imagine, when I asked Tyler because he's like, well, we'll just put it on the post. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, I want to wait a little bit longer. And he's like, so you're going to make me go out, and it's not even going to be 30 acres, because you're not doing it on
It's
all
literally going to be like 8 acres at this point.
So he's like, you're gonna make me get the sprayer out and mix up a whole batch to spray this little bit. And I'm like,
Yep.
yes, I am. I really am. But I said, when we make 10 bushel more an acre, then you'll be thanking me.
He's like, if we
Uh-huh.
make 10.
Yeah, right. And he probably wants to see more than that for the work that
Yeah.
we're putting in. But yeah, that's my venture. I'm really excited about it. I then wanted to try and put some zinc on. He told me no.
Why?
Because I don't know.
No, why did he say no?
Oh, why did he say no?
Yeah.
Because we're just
I'm not
already
questioning you.
Because we're just like already into the season and I have too much going on and he's already, I think, a little bit anxious about it.
He's
So-
like, I am eating my words about
Yeah.
giving you 30 acres right
Yeah.
now.
So then this leads me into a whole nother venture. Again, how I said he was a little bit mad at me. He was going to have to get the sprayer out. So he's like, I'm just going to give you so-and-so's number and he can come drone spray it.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. Well, I kind of looked into that a couple years ago and thought about maybe getting into drone spraying. And he's like, yeah, I thought about it too, but it's just not profitable for the amount of acres that you can only cover in a day. So you'd have to have multiple drones and this and this and this. So like, okay. So I'm like, I'm going to do my own research like I do. So I did my own research and he's right-ish. So then it's like, go big or go home. So if I'm going to get into drone spraying, like I'm not going to buy one drone. I'm probably going to buy 3 drones.
And you're going to have the trailer that hauls them all.
Yeah,
and
like that. What we saw, it was that
Husker Harvest Days, yeah.
Yes. No, he probably wouldn't let me be that bougie to begin with. But I told him, so then I wrote the numbers and gave him the numbers on how much I would save just on our farms as far as like Tyler and Matt's. And then if I went out and sprayed other people's, it could actually be profitable.
Right.
Which it would be profitable. I mean, I literally, after 2 years, it would pay for itself just in drone spraying.
You would have to just upfront the cost,
Exactly.
of course. But
Yeah.
Cody is literally, he was one class away from getting his drone, like, flying.
He was?
Yeah, and it was a college algebra class. I was just like, Cody. And if anyone...
Make him do it.
Well, I was just
He would
like,
hate
Cody,
your guts.
I would do it for you. Like, you don't...
Yeah.
Like, I...
You like
What?
school.
Oh, I love school.
Well, and then, so I was just going to do it myself, but, so there's a lot. You have to get your pilot's license, and then you have to get, like, you got to get your custom applicator's license, which Tyler already has. And then, yeah, there's just a ton of stuff to go through, which it's just, like anything, it's a process, but that's why Tyler's like, well, I'll just do it with you, because we're not going to have all this stuff and have these drones, and then you're busy with kids, so you can't fly it. But I told him, I said, because he's like, why can't you just do one thing at a time? He's like, why do you have to dabble in like 5 things? Like, just be really sufficient
In one thing.
In one thing. And I'm like, because I don't think you understand. Unless God has really different plans for us, I'm done having kids. So there's like this is going to sound really bad, but I'm like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
As far as me and my hobbies.
Well,
Because I've kind of put those on the back burner,
at some point, the kids are going to go to school every
Exactly.
single day of the... So
Yeah.
you're going to have a day.
Yeah, and also, like, I say that light at the end of the tunnel, but I do think I'm kind of protecting myself a little bit for the, like, emotional, just kind of, like, drop and, like, sadness of
Right.
being out of the stage of, like, completely mothering all the time.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand. There's a
Right.
joy, there's a sadness. So I think I'm trying to, like, fill my plate and get a lot of irons in the fire, so when that time comes, I'm busy.
Or you at least have a plan.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's always like, okay, I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And now the kids go to school. And I know there has been some talk about, I might keep them home for preschool or, first,
I
second
wanted
grade.
to homeschool, and
Yeah.
Taylin, I think, is just... I don't think she's a homeschool kid.
And there's,
I think
that's
she
a
will thrive in
whole,
the school
I was going to say,
environment.
total different thing.
It is, yeah.
I am just, again, bottom line, not going off on a tangent, firm
Right.
believer in daycare, and whether that's 1 day a week,
Right.
5 days a week, all day long, 2 hours a day, don't care. I think daycare provides
Yeah.
a lot of beneficial things.
Oh, for sure.
And we've had that conversation with Taylin. But yeah, no, at some point, kids are going to have to go to school.
Yeah.
Kids are going to have to just go be kids. They
Yeah.
have practices. They have all of these things. And so it comes down to, like, as a stay-at-home mom, you're like, my whole life, or, my whole, like, adult-ish
literally,
life
yeah.
has been around raising these children
Yeah.
and now I'm sending them off for someone else to not necessarily raise them, but to watch them every day
Yeah.
and to like
Just
discipline
the
them.
time.
And yeah,
is-
and like,
what am I going to do? Right now, if I
Right.
get an hour to myself, or even recording today, how many hours? Would we start at 1?
yeah,
3 hours in. And I'm like, to have 3 hours to myself, I can imagine like days.
well, yeah, you have I mean, maybe not 8 solid hours, but
But yeah.
I mean, and it's like, am I going to be less of a woman or
know.
less of a stay-at-home mom or less of a wife or a farm wife or whatever just because now my kids are at school and I'm still
Right.
staying at home?
Well, and I think that's why I told Tyler, I'm like, I think I'm just like trying to find
Right.
things to like prepare myself so that
Right.
I'm busy when that time comes.
Absolutely. And it's not necessarily like that, but it's you need something. You can't just sit at home and watch TV and be a zombie.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
like you have to go do stuff.
Well, and this goes back to our type A, like my self-worth is reliant on my productivity. So like there's only so clean I can get my house.
Yeah.
So,
Or there's so many books I can read.
yeah,
There's
literally.
I can't garden in the middle of the winter.
And even like books, like that does not do it for productivity. Like I have to be like
You have to
out,
go do
like
stuff.
moving my
Yeah,
body,
same.
like doing things with my hands, like
yeah.
So anyway.
But yeah, so drone spraying would be something that you would
Yeah.
quote
that-
unquote
yeah.
dabble in.
That was something I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll dabble in that maybe.
Lovely.
But anyway, Tyler's he's like, let's get through this year of your kelp, and then we will next year look into the drones. Which I need Tyler. There's a reason God put Tyler in my life, because I would be like, I would, like jack of all trades, or like, how's that saying go? Like you're either a master of one or
Yeah.
I don't know, but anyway, you get what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
would be that, where I'm like dabbling in like literally 50 different things.
And that sometimes I am 100% the dabbling
Yeah.
in 50 million things.
Yeah. So he's really good about keeping me realistic, and
Are you saying I'm not realistic?
I don't think that's it. That's not it.
No, but like,
I'm just the person, but also that's why God knew I must stay at home with my children, because I would never be able, and I've said this on the podcast, I would never be able to go to work all day giving my whatever percent, and then like I have to be all in one thing. Otherwise I feel like I'm inadequate
Right.
in the other.
yeah, no, 100%. I agree.
So, and I think Tyler knows that about me, and that's why he kind of sticks it
Yeah,
to me and says,
absolutely.
no, we're going to wait on that, and we're just going to do this for now. Yeah, anyway, I am really excited to see how it goes. I have to say, it has really been eye-opening for me for Tyler. Like, my outlook on him and with the farm. Because
Of
I'm
all the
stressed.
decisions.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Yeah.
stressful. And then it's not like, because we're such planners, So in my head, I'm like, okay, he's going to start planting April 10th. I don't want it planted that early, because I'm feeling a little bit anxious about this early germination with the seed treating. So I'm scared it's going to come out of the ground and freeze off.
Yeah, no.
Die. So I'm like, maybe we'll hold off a little bit on planting early. So if we do that, and then we'll see how it germinates and comes up compared to everything else. And then it's like, I want to hit it with spray before reproductive phase. So we can't plan dates. Like, we have to watch it, see how it does throughout the year. And then it's going to be like, Tyler goes out and scouts for me, and he's like, okay, yeah, we're ready to spray. We're going. Which is like great, grand, wonderful. But as a planner, it's a little bit stressful.
Yeah, you're reliant on weather and
Yeah. And then also just, you're putting all this work. You want to see a yield difference.
yeah.
So yeah, it is. It's nice to kind of have that like eye-opening like realization and kind of like appreciation for my husband.
100%.
Because sometimes I think we get into like the daily swing of things, and I know I can be like, and he loves it too. So where I'm at home sometimes in the trenches changing poopy diapers and like not loving my day job, I know Tyler's sitting in a tractor having like a great, grand, wonderful time. So it's nice to be like, he has big decisions to make too. He's stressed too. I need to remember that.
Yeah.
So if I get anything out of this quote unquote farm venture,
It's that.
been that.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me.
Yeah. No, I think keeping that in the center of just how we look at our spouses or how we look at their heart and their dedication of what they're putting like out there, I think is huge. Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think too, it's been nice to just like quote unquote talk farming with Tyler, because that is his niche. That's something he gets pumped about, that he's passionate about. And in the beginning, I did almost feel a little bit embarrassed about it because of the gender roles. You know, I
Because-
feel like even in agriculture now today, women are still like kind of having to be sneaky about it. If that is that the right word? Like,
Yeah, I actually just saw a statistic about women in agriculture, and
I love me a nice number.
yeah, and it was, I'll have to find it, but I believe it was like 48% of new agriculture people like coming into ag are women now.
Really?
Yeah,
It's
and so-
almost 50%.
I'll have to find it.
That's wild.
But at the end of the day, okay, yeah, women currently today make up 36% of the U.S. producers operating over 407 million acres.
Wow.
Women do. The number one state with the most women in ag, do you want to guess?
Is it Midwest?
No,
It's not.
no.
What about like California?
Close.
Where?
Arizona.
What are they farming?
I don't know, but the number one state with the most women in ag is Arizona, with 48% of their
That's pretty
producers being women. 41% of beginning producers are now women.
cool. Wow.
Crazy.
I love to hear that. That makes me so pumped for Taylin.
Yeah, no.
And hey, she may grow up and not want anything to do with ag, and that's fine.
Yeah, of course.
But as somebody who was, I think, one, maybe there was 2 or 3 actually from my graduating class that went into agriculture. It's just a good feeling.
Back to like the gender roles of like just being women and that stuff, like when you were setting up these meetings, I know we kind of talked about it, but I think it's important to share on the podcast, like when you set these meetings up and you were like, my husband and I want to talk to you about buying kelp or buying this, the person really probably first thought it was Tyler, and
Yeah.
you were just going to be taking notes as the farm wife or
Well,
whatever.
and my name too.
Right.
So when I sent the email, he originally thought it was a
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
And this would have been a company they get their kelp out of British Columbia. This was one we didn't go with, but that's who I got a lot of my research from. And it wasn't like a jump scare or anything like that. He was super great. There was no like gender stereotyping or anything of that nature from him. He did awesome. It comes more from me.
Yeah.
Because now, granted, I didn't have to do a lot of talking with the dealer for Singular products because Tyler was already getting product through him. And then also I had already gotten all the information from the guy I had talked to previously. But I did feel more intimidated. It's not the right word, but like, I don't know. What's word am I looking for? Like, not as educated as I should be,
I was going to say
guess.
like less of a...
than.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I felt so confident but also the guy I talked to that didn't know me from Joe Blow, you know, he doesn't understand that I'm a stay-at-home mom and my role isn't the farm. My role is staying at home with the kids and raising the kids. And so I feel like people that know my day-to-day life and that don't know how passionate I am about ag or like how much I like to get into it, it's kind of like I don't know. I don't know why I feel a type of way about it, but that's probably more of a me than anybody else, and I just need to get over it.
Yeah.
But
it's hard to get over those types of things.
yeah. I don't know, but I've always been in a role where it's more male dominated. I mean, even when I was out of college and working with doing Purina sales, yeah. I had farmers that wouldn't even let me load their feed with forklift because they were worried, I guess, I was going to
damage the tailgate of their truck
Yeah,
or something.
I guess.
Like, watch me.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably going to damage it before I damage it, but here we go. No, I think...
So maybe I just have those past experiences and I put them on, future things. But
do you think that... Okay, I don't hope this happens, but if this does go completely...
my kelp,
Yeah.
well, it can't kill it.
Well, no, but...
Well, I don't think it can kill it.
I mean, realistically, let's say, like, again, I really hope this doesn't happen, but weather takes a beating or we just have a really crappy year and it doesn't rain anything or whatever the
Right.
case is, like, and it's not really successful. Do you think Tyler's going to be like, well, that was an outlier year and we just really had a shitty year. And so here's year 2. Let's try it again.
Yeah, I think he will.
You think so?
Yeah, he's really good about, he knows that I like it, and I think he likes that we get to talk about it. Because even just different, like, it's just opened up such different things for our farm to ask questions about, and it kind of gets his mind rolling a little bit and makes him think a little bit more. And it's 30 acres.
Again, it's not going to make or break that your guys' farm.
Now, he may not be stoked when I'm like, oh, so this quarter we bought that's all irrigated, I want to do something to the whole quarter. He may not be as
he'd be like,
giving.
yeah, no.
Yeah, no, he may not be as giving when it comes to that. But.
Because this 30 acres is dry land. It's not irrigated.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, that's why I bring up, like, weather. Like,
yes.
you could have 0 rain.
Which, the kelp, that's why I targeted the farm that I did.
Right.
Because I want it to be stressed out. I will be, this is really bad to say. For my farm venture, I will be upset if we have a year like last year because the beans thrived. Because it was not extremely hot.
No.
It was rainy for our area.
Corn sucked, though.
It did, yeah. Corn was awful because it did not have enough growing degree days whatsoever.
And it needs the heat, and we just didn't have that.
And so no, for as far as like Tyler farming, I want, we love the rain.
Yeah,
we love it. But for my venture, I want the beans to be a little more stressed than they
absolutely
normally are, just to see if it actually works. But
so when you came to Tyler and you said, I really want to try planting these beans and this is what I want to put on them and let me do a little bit more research XYZ. Did you already have this spot in mind or did you?
No. I mean, I didn't really care. I just told him I wanted dryland beans or, it had been corn, dryland. So then we could go into dryland beans this year.
So then you said,
I'm like, just give me an area. And then the creek was about the only place that would work for all
of your criteria. Yeah. It's like, it needs this and this. Yeah. Well, okay. Let me go buy a new farm for you really quick.
And then just setting up like how you want to plant and harvest and spray too and timing.
Well, yeah, because you're going to have to harvest it in those different sections too.
Well, I wanted to because it's just fun, to watch the monitor, but he's not going to let me do that. We're just going to have to do John Deere ops.
We can make it work.
I know. I want to.
We can make it work.
No, he's so stressed though because if you're listening, go to YouTube and watch so you can see my hand gestures. But we've got so we're planting diagonally.
Right.
Nope, I'm still. We need to bring Tyler down here. We may be planting it straight and then we're harvesting it diagonally. So some things are happening with different angles, and then plus the test plots. It's just he's a little bit stressed about it.
Well, guess what?
I quit asking about harvesting it in strips like I want to, and he just wants me to read the monitor. But when he gets in a better mood, I'll ask again.
Oh, I will poke his
buttons. Because I want to have
buttons.
Like a field day. It'll be so
like
fun.
A little field trip. Let's bring the kids out.
No, I don't want to bring the kids.
Oh, okay.
I just want
kids stay home.
Yeah, no. I told Tyler because he's like, I said I need a heads up because I want to be out there.
Oh yeah, no.
And he's like, I can't just say, oh yeah, we'll go cut that when you have babysitters for the kids. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then I'll run it and you can sit in the car with the kids. And of course we get into the tit for tat. Well, if you slug it, then I'm not going to help you unslug it.
Well, and it's beans. Like, it's not like you can say...
I actually like beans better than corn. I hate keeping the snoots in between the rows.
Yes, harvesting
beans,
that way,
you can cut. Press my auto steer and we're good to go. And I just have to slow down or pick the head up or down.
I love corn though because you go faster. Beans, it's like literally watching paint dry. It's so slow. Ugh, hate it. And it kind of makes me a little dizzy, which I don't know why corn does it.
No, see, I think that's me because keeping the snoot in between the rows, I feel like I get a little car sick.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. Beans are but beans you can't do at night. Like you can, but once they get tough, they get tough.
Yeah, I like beans because they're a little bit.
But you get your husband home a lot quicker than with beans. I mean, not super quick, but quicker than corn. Where I am like, work all night. I don't care. Get harvest done.
They're a little bit more of a particular plant. And even in the morning, too, you're not.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like I would much rather harvest corn than beans all day, every day. You go faster.
I think that's why I kind of wanted to get into beans, too, because Tyler's very much like corn. Let's put stuff into our corn. And I'm like, I kind of like beans.
Well, yeah, no, I like beans.
Yeah.
I mean, you get more per bushel, really. But at the same time, it's like beans are just so slow. Yeah. Even if you, like, whatever role that you're wearing in the harvest crew, whether it's corn, beans, or whatever, corn, it's balls to the walls nonstop because there's more bushels an acre. I kind of like that in the beginning, though.
No, it is just kind of fun.
I just love that. Like, it makes the day go by so much quicker. But when you're doing beans, you have a husband that got into his lunchbox at 9 o'clock in the morning and doesn't have a lunch. And then I'm calling you being like, husband just called saying he needs lunch. Can you please figure out my husband? That's why I like corn, because there's no time to eat. Like, you're constantly on doing something.
Yeah, the go is nice, but a break it's nice to slow down too, I think.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that's my venture. We'll see how it ventures, I guess. I don't know. I'm excited.
I'm really excited for you. As we wrap up this episode, last episode we ended with a Bible quote that you put on your Snapchat story, or you saved on Snapchat or whatever. So I do have a Bible verse that I wanted to tie into this episode. So
please do.
So it's Proverbs 4:23. And so the verse says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And so what resonated with me with that one is it doesn't say guard your production. It says, or guard your reputation as a hard worker. It says guard your heart. And I think if you put everything that you want into, if everything that you are pouring out of yourself, you're pouring into these acres of beans or whatever, it's from your heart. It's not because I have to do it because it's a production.
I'm passionate about it.
Right. You need to do it from your heart. So the heart is such a important thing, and I think it's the most important acre, I guess, on the farm, if you really want to look at it that way. So it says, if the well goes dry, or if it gets choked out by the weeds or the bitterness, it doesn't matter how green the corn is. So if you're out there scouting for pests or running for parts this week, do a quick heart scout. Don't let the spraying season of the farm become the stifling season of your soul. And you're allowed to take an extra pass for yourself, and you're allowed to be the type grace. Because the harvest God cares about most isn't in the grain bin, it's in you. So I love that.
That's cute.
So
we should start implementing that in our
I love that. That's why I was just like, I really liked that last episode. And I was just
that.
like, I'm going to do this. So
okay. Well, love it. That wraps it up. I guess if anybody out there is listening has done some kelp.
Yeah. I mean, hit us up. Mainly Bradie.
Please do. Let me know.
Or just any farm,
or
different
just
farming.
Wish me good luck.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
They say a farmer's work is never done. Well, neither is ours.
Come back next week for a new episode of Life Between the Rows.